On the night of June 15, 2023, the peaceful suburb of Millbrook, Oregon, became the stage for a shocking crime that would unravel a web of secrets and destroy a family from within. What appeared to be a tragic accident soon revealed itself as a carefully orchestrated murder, born from a forbidden affair between 17-year-old Lucas Hartley and his 42-year-old stepmother, Catherine. The Hartley family seemed perfect on the surface. Dr. James Hartley, a respected surgeon at Millbrook General Hospital, had married Catherine, a successful real estate agent, 3 years earlier. Lucas, James's son from his first marriage, appeared to have adjusted well to his new family dynamic. Neighbors often commented on how well the three got along, with Catherine taking an active interest in Lucas's life and academic achievements. But beneath this facade of domestic bliss, a dangerous attraction was brewing. It began innocently enough. Catherine helping Lucas with his homework, offering advice on girls, being the supportive mother figure he'd lacked since his parents' divorce. As Lucas matured, however, their relationship took a turn that would ultimately lead to tragedy. Detective Sarah Chan of the Millbrook Police Department arrived at the Hartley residence at 7:30 a.m. on June 16th, responding to a frantic 911 call from Drive James Hartley. As she pulled up to the sprawling two-story home, she found James pacing on the front lawn, still in his pajamas. "I don't understand," James said, his voice shaking. "I came home from my night shift, and Catherine wasn't in bed. I thought maybe she'd gone for an early swim, but then I saw her floating in the pool." Chan made her way to the backyard, where Catherine's body had already been pulled from the water. The victim was dressed in a silk nightgown, her blonde hair matted and tangled. At first glance, it appeared she had accidentally drowned during a late-night swim. Chan surveyed the scene. Her attention was drawn to Lucas, who stood watching from the patio doors. There was something in his expression that didn't sit right with the detective, a mixture of shock and what appeared to be guilt. Chen approached Lucas, noting his nervous demeanor. "Can you tell me what happened last night, Lucas?" she asked. Lucas avoided eye contact as he responded, "I was out with friends, got home around 10 and went straight to bed. Didn't hear anything unusual." Chan pressed further. "How would you describe your relationship with your stepmother?" Lucas hesitated before answering. "We got along fine. She was cool, you know, not like a real mom, but she tried." As the investigation progressed over the next few days, Chan and her team uncovered a series of text messages between Catherine and Lucas that painted a disturbing picture. The exchanges were intimate, filled with declarations of love and plans to meet in secret. One message from Catherine, dated just 2 days before her death, read, "We can't keep doing this, Lucas. Your father suspects something. We need to end it." Lucas's reply was chilling. "I won't let you leave me. We'll find a way to be together, no matter what." When confronted with this evidence, Lucas broke down. In a tearful confession, he revealed the truth about his relationship with Catherine. "It started about 6 months ago," Lucas admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Dad was always at the hospital, and Catherine was lonely. We started spending more time together, and things just happened." The affair had continued in secret, with Lucas and Catherine meeting whenever James was working late shifts at the hospital. But as Lucas's obsession grew, Catherine began to have second thoughts. She said she wanted to end it. Lucas continued, his eyes filled with a mix of anger and sorrow. "She threatened to tell Dad everything if I didn't agree. I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't lose her." On the night of June 15th, Lucas had confronted Catherine by the pool. Their argument escalated, and in a moment of blind rage, Lucas pushed her into the water. As Catherine struggled, calling out for help, Lucas made the fateful decision to hold her under. Watching as the life drained from her eyes, the revelation sent shockwaves through the community. Dr. James Hartley, devastated by the betrayal and loss, retreated from public life. The neighbors who had once admired the Hartley family now gossiped in hushed tones about the scandal. As Lucas Hartley was led away in handcuffs, charged with the second-degree murder of his stepmother, Detective Chan couldn't help but reflect on the tragedy. What had begun as a secret affair had spiraled into an obsession, ultimately ending in a violent act that would forever change the lives of everyone involved. As Detective Chan delved deeper into the case, the events of June 15th began to come into sharper focus. Through a combination of forensic evidence, witness statements, and Lucas's own confession, a chilling timeline emerged. On the evening of June 15th, Dr. James Hartley left for his night shift at the hospital at 7 p.m. Lucas, who had been planning this moment for days, waited until his father's car was out of sight before approaching Catherine in the kitchen. "We need to talk," Lucas said, his voice trembling with a mix of anger and desperation. Catherine, sensing the tension, tried to deflect. "Lucas, honey, can this wait? I have some work to finish up." But Lucas was insistent. He produced his phone, showing Catherine a series of screenshots. "I saved our messages," he said. "If you try to end this, I'll show them to Dad. To everyone." The color drained from Catherine's face. "You wouldn't," she whispered. "Try me," Lucas replied, his teenage bravado masking the fear and desperation beneath. The argument escalated quickly. Catherine, realizing the gravity of the situation, made a grab for Lucas's phone. In the struggle, the phone fell to the floor, its screen cracking on impact. "This is crazy, Lucas," Catherine shouted. "We need to end this now, before it destroys everything." Lucas, fueled by a potent mix of teenage hormones, anger, and fear, lashed out. He shoved Catherine hard, sending her stumbling backwards through the patio doors and onto the pool deck. Catherine, caught off guard, lost her footing on the slick tiles. She fell backwards, her head striking the edge of the pool with a sickening crack before she slipped into the water. For a moment, Lucas stood frozen, watching as Catherine flailed in the pool, clearly dazed from the impact. It was in this crucial moment that Lucas made the decision that would seal both their fates. Instead of helping her, Lucas walked to the edge of the pool. As Catherine reached out for him, pleading for help, he placed his foot on her head and pushed her under the water. "I'm sorry," he whispered, tears streaming down his face as he held her under. "I'm so sorry." The struggle lasted for several agonizing minutes. Finally, Catherine's movements ceased, and her body floated lifelessly in the pool. Panicked, Lucas retreated to his room, his mind racing. He needed an alibi. He quickly texted a few friends, asking if they'd cover for him if anyone asked about his whereabouts that night. Then, he changed out of his wet clothes and attempted to calm himself. What Lucas didn't realize was that in the heat of the moment, he'd left crucial evidence behind. His cracked phone lay forgotten on the kitchen floor. Even more damning, his watch, a gift from his father, had fallen off during the struggle and now rested at the bottom of the pool. The next morning, when Dr. Hartley returned home and discovered Catherine's body, Lucas played the part of the shocked stepson. But his performance wasn't quite convincing enough to fool Detective Chan. As the investigation progressed, Chan and her team uncovered a wealth of physical evidence. Forensic analysis of the pool water revealed traces of Lucas's DNA. The cracked phone in the kitchen contained the incriminating messages, and most damning of all, Lucas's watch was recovered from the pool. Its hands stopped at the exact time of Catherine's estimated death. Faced with this mountain of evidence, Lucas's carefully constructed story began to crumble. In a tense interrogation room at the Millbrook Police Department, Detective Chen laid out the facts. "We know you were home that night, Lucas," Chen said, her voice calm but firm. "We found your watch in the pool. Want to tell me how it got there?" Lucas, realizing the game was up, broke down. Through tears, he confessed to the affair and the fatal confrontation by the pool. "I didn't mean to kill her," he sobbed. I couldn't let her leave me. I couldn't let her tell Dad." As Lucas was led away in handcuffs, charged with second-degree murder, the full impact of his actions began to sink in. In trying to preserve his secret relationship, he had destroyed not only Catherine's life, but his own as well. The trial of Lucas Hartley began on September 5, 2023, drawing intense media attention to the small town of Millbrook. The prosecution, led by District Attorney Maria Gonzalez, painted a damning picture of a troubled teenager whose obsession led to murder. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," Gonzalez began, "what we have here is not a crime of passion, but a premeditated act of violence." The prosecution's case was built on a foundation of physical evidence and Lucas's own confession. Forensic experts testified about the DNA evidence found in the pool and on Catherine's body. The cracked phone, containing the incriminating messages, was entered into evidence, laying bare the illicit relationship for all to see. But it was the testimony of of Dr. James Hartley that truly captivated the courtroom. James, still visibly shaken by the dual betrayal of his wife and son, recounted the events leading up to that fateful night. "I had noticed changes in both of them," James testified, his voice barely above a whisper. "Catherine seemed distant, anxious, and Lucas, he was always watching her, finding reasons to be around her. I thought he just missed having a mother figure." As the trial progressed, more details of the murder came to light. The defense, in a desperate attempt to reduce the charges, argued that Catherine's death was accidental, the result of a heated argument gone wrong. However, the prosecution countered with damning evidence. They presented enhanced security camera footage from a neighbor's house, which partially captured the pool area. While the actual murder wasn't visible, the footage clearly showed Lucas entering the backyard and leaving sometime later, visibly distressed. Moreover, the autopsy report revealed bruising on Catherine's shoulders and head, consistent with being forcibly held underwater. The medical examiner testified that the drowning was not accidental, but the result of deliberate action. The victim, the medical examiner stated, had defensive wounds on her arms and hands. She fought for her life. In a surprising turn of events, Lucas decided to take the stand. Under cross-examination, he broke down, revealing the full extent of his obsession with Catherine. "I couldn't let her go," Lucas sobbed. "She said she was going to end it, that she still loved my dad. I lost control." Lucas went on to describe in chilling detail how he had planned the confrontation, waiting for his father to leave for work. He admitted to pushing Catherine into the pool deliberately, knowing she had been drinking earlier and would be less able to defend herself. "When she fell in," Lucas continued, his voice hollow, "I saw an opportunity. I thought if I made it look like an accident, we wouldn't have to end things. We could be together." The jury deliberated for just 4 hours before returning with a verdict: guilty of second-degree murder. Lucas Hartley was sentenced to 25 years in prison, with a possibility of parole after 15 years. As Lucas was led away, Dr. James Hartley sat in the courtroom, a broken man. In the span of a few months, he had lost his wife to murder and his son to prison, all because of a secret affair that had spiraled out of control. The case of Lucas and Catherine Hartley served as a grim reminder of the destructive power of forbidden relationships and unchecked obsession. It left the community of Millbrook shaken, forcing parents to question how well they really knew their children, and partners to wonder about the secrets that might be lurking beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect relationships. In the end, what began as an illicit affair between a teenager and his stepmother ended in tragedy, leaving a trail of shattered lives in its wake.